thought I'd give you a guided tour of my bookshelf. Let's go.
I thought I'd start with some old favourites, so let me just move these to the side. And as you can see back here, I've got double layered bookshelves, and Kelly Armstrong's work has been one of my absolute favourites since I was probably about 12 maybe, and I've got all of that main series of hers here. And as you can probably peek just down there, I was a fan of the Vampire Diaries, again around about the same time, well before the TV show was popular. As you can see, they're very well worn copies, so I've read them quite a few times, first 4 books. And if I shut that back again, then you've got Kelly Armstrong, some of her newer works. So I believe that was her first horror. Absolutely well worth a read. I know that, you know, her main series was sort of like an urban fantasy. This horror was a very nice surprise to find, as were these. That begins with A Stitch in Time. Lots and lots of fun, different characters throughout the series there. You may have also spotted when I pulled my books back some of the Darren Shans. Darren Shan was also one of my absolute favourites as a child. I have moved on a little bit since then. As you can probably see, Stephen King here. I went through a phase where I bought absolutely every single Stephen King I could get my hands on, whether it was new or lots of these are second hand from Barter Books. If you've never been to Barter Books, please go, it's excellent. Absolute wonderful works of Stephen King, though I feel like now I have to be in the mood for. I am afraid I'm a little bit late to the Cassandra Clare fan group. I, obviously started off with The City of Bones after watching, I think it was the film, not the TV show, it was definitely the film, I think. Really enjoyed that, and so I read through that main series, and as I've been going along, I've picked up the Clockwork ones, which I think I might actually prefer these ones. They were really, really fun. And then I'm currently on these ones, so I think it's A Chain of Roses, I want to say, is the one I'm currently reading. That's the last big trilogy of hers I've read, but I do have other ones of hers. So the Bane Chronicles, and I've got Lady Midnight and Scrolls of Magic. I haven't read those ones yet. Down here we've got my mostly horrors. I've got the Hunger Games and then the editions, which, by the way, if you have not read the Sunrise on the Reaping, one of the best books I read last year, or was it earlier this year? I think it was earlier this year actually. Go ahead and read it, it's absolutely fabulous. Shout out to the UK Ghost Story Writing Festival. I go there I think it's February. It's really, really good. Go if you are, particularly if you're a writer, but I think readers would even have something to take out of it. This I read in the summer for the first time. Did not realise that it was popular on BookTok. At the time when I bought it, I got it because it was buy one get one half price, and obviously I got the sequel as part of my half price deal. Haven't read the sequel yet. That's, I think, next on my list of things to read. But this was brilliant to read on my summer holiday. There's a lot on here in the middle that I haven't yet read either. Loads of horror things. Now, Let the Right One In. I teach that for film studies, and I did read this one. The book is a lot more gory and intense than the film. I really, really recommend it. It's a translation from the original. Sorry, I've got a piece of paper here with my planned reading. So I've already read The Witch Haven. I'm reading The Chain of Thorns now, and then it'll be Enchantra that I read next. I'm a bit, again, late to the game. So I read Northern Lights purely because I'm teaching it to Year 9. Absolutely loved it. And so one of the other teachers said it's great, but go ahead and read the other 2, because they're much better, so they're on my list as well. Now, you may see a cheeky favourite of mine, Catherine Cookson. I love watching the films. Haven't actually read the books yet. The Rag Nymph, considering that was my favourite one of the TV films, I'm going to start with that one. Game of Thrones, watched the TV show, and I got this book given to me by my mum, who had read all of the series, and so she didn't want this anymore, so she gave it to me. Hopefully that's enjoyable, but I don't think I can really read this one until I've, I guess, kind of forgotten some of the main points of the plot of the TV show, because I've got the TV show firmly in my mind at this point. A Tempest of Tea, a work friend of mine recommended this to me, and I planned to buy it, and then when I was in France there was an English bookshop, and so when I was in there I thought I can't resist it, so I bought that one there. And there's a few on here that have been here for a while. The Gift and Ruin Song. The Gift I'm sure I got from Book Crossing. If you've never done Book Crossing before, it is a website well worth having a look at if you're somebody who really enjoys just a random book that was a surprise. Book Crossing is the place to go. So Book Crossing is a place where people pop books, any book, into a little baggie, or if it's a dry place, you know, like the weather's pretty decent, don't need the baggie, you've got a little code on it, and the person who picks it up sees the code, goes onto the website and lets the person know, hey, I picked up your book. There are still ones on here where I've started the series and then just haven't had a chance to carry on. So for example, I've got Mutate by Hetty Waite. I met her at a reading fair in Belper last year, and she signed a copy for me actually. She's an ex-English teacher, and I had a really lovely chat with her about her work, and so she's got I think another 2 of those coming out. Then we've got also these, Murder and Merrywell, and also the Murder at the Book Festival. I only bought this one because Jane Bettany was also at the same fair that Hetty Waite was at, and because we were at a book festival at the time, I thought, oh, that sounds quite fun, Murder at the Book Festival. And as far as I'm aware, I think these books are based upon Belper, so I thought that was quite interesting that there's a series where even though it's not actually Belper itself, there's a lot of information. Hello? Hi, sorry, is my little boy. Hello, Loki. Then I've also got Beautiful Creatures. I read quite a while ago, and obviously there was the film of it, was pretty decent. I do hope to read the rest of those as well. I've heard they're quite good. Noughts and Crosses, one of the best books I read a few years ago. Unfortunately, I haven't had time yet to go onto the knife edge, but it is one of those on that list up there that I'm planning to read within the next few months. Then down here is probably my more neglected shelf, which is a bit sad because of Lord of the Rings. I really enjoy Lord of the Rings. I read Lord of the Rings quite a while ago. I've been a big fan of the films for years, and I tried reading the first book when I was about 9, and I think I was a little bit too young. So I was quite happy after I got married on my honeymoon. I took the first one with me and really enjoyed it, and I completely planned to read the Two Towers about a year later, and I just haven't got around to it. It's been years now since I read the first one, The Fellowship, so it is on my list. It's just that because I know what the story is and I know how it ends, I think I'm a little less excited than some of the other things on my shelf. And then there's some old favourites on here as well. Dracula, I read that first when I was probably about 9 or 10. As you can see, it's a really well worn copy if I zoom in. Fahrenheit 451, I read the first chapter. I plan to go back to it again, but at the time I didn't really gel with it, so I'm hoping on the second exploration it's a bit more exciting. I have used a few extracts from that in my English lessons and they were great, so I don't quite know why I didn't get on with that one at the time. And then, as you can probably see, if I zoom all the way down here, I've got some of my special interests like Supernatural and Titanic. I'm not a big fan of non-fiction, but I do have a few non-fiction books down here, so those ones I'll just pull out and grab as and when. I won't read the whole thing in one go. Sorry, Loki really wants the spotlight today. Hello, gorgeous. Say hello. So yeah, I kind of worked my bookshelf from absolute favourites on the top, ones that I have enjoyed since I was young, and then got further down to ones that I quite like and usually tend to be more fantasy and horror, and as I work my way down there's more horror, and then I work my way down here to books that tend to be a bit more, there's some historical ones in there, like I say, Catherine Cookson. I went through a phase of reading Philippa Gregory, and then there's a few more kind of witchy ones down here as well, and then like I say, some of the classics down here and some non-fiction. So that's how I organise my bookshelf. Everything is double layered. I think I might need another bookshelf. I don't know how the structure of this bookshelf is going to hold up over time. I do really need to get on reading the books that I've currently got. without buying more. So if I had to pick my absolute favourites, all of the Kelly Armstrong original series, I'd probably also say actually her Stitch in Time series, Cassandra Clare and the Shadowhunters, including the sort of older ones as well. I cannot stop absolutely still loving the Darren Shans all the way down there because they're such an old favourite. And then the Hunger Games. They're probably my absolute top favourites, but the most interesting one that I've read this year, probably Phantasma, just because it was a little bit more exciting than the others. I have also in the past really enjoyed, as you can probably just about see, the Divergent series back there. They were really fun to read years and years ago. So yeah, they're probably the best ones on my bookshelf at the moment. Also, quick shout out to my little Harry Potter letter here that I got from the Harry Potter Studios. Last year when I went on a trip with my year 13s, they produced a bunch of these that came out of a rig that was tied to the letterbox, that was the same rig they used for the Harry Potter set when all the letters came through the letterbox in the first one. And so it was exactly the same design as what they did then, and they showed us the kind of mechanisms behind it, so that was really, really fun. So that's a quick tour of my bookshelf. Let me know what you've got on yours.